football, culture, movement.
Yes, people, and welcome back to the FCM Podcast, the football culture movement. And where else would you rather be on a Sunday than here? And listen, I know you're probably watching this on pre-record thinking, hey, this is meant to be live. Bit of technical issues today with YouTube, so we apologize for that. We weren't able to go live today, but we're still doing our best to give you the same good content, and hopefully this will be out on a Sunday night. But yes, either way, we're here again to have another podcast. And listen, a lot of action has happened. And who else better to join me than my co-host, Culture Cams? What we saying, bro? The cult hero.
The cult hero, man. It's not good, but listen, this is therapy today. I'm freeing it today. Let me tell you that. But I'm not as special today as our guest.
Hey, first ever guest on the FCM podcast. And none other than who else? The head honcho, the big Don Robbie. Hey, welcome to the show, big man.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Don Robbie.
I had to come on, level up things, man. You know what I mean? I've been hearing from a lot of Arsenal fans, man, over the previous weeks that you,
Me?
no, yes, me? You. Every week you're going in, you know what I mean? You're going in on Arsenal, you're cussing off Martin Odegaard, you're cussing off this man, that man.
They called the backup. They called the backup.
All the cavalry. I'm here to represent, man.
You know what?
But now, listen, first of all, I'm going to say you guys have been doing a brilliant job with this show, man. Absolutely love the show. Love the podcast, man, and it's been brilliant.
Appreciate it.
I'm wondering why Cams is trying to disguise himself as a Tottenham fan today.
What are you talking about?
Little white shirts, I see it. Who's wearing the blue one earlier? He said, yo, the real thing.
I know it's been a rough day for you, bro. It's been a rough day, man. You know what I mean?
We've got so much to get into as well. We've got the Manchester derby, we've got El Clásico, we've got Arsenal, of course, dishing out as well. Spurs still top as well. But listen, make sure you guys are getting involved in the comments as well. Smash the like video if you can as well.
Yes.
That would really appreciate it. Algorithm, as we always say. Help us, help you. But yeah, also, Maywa and Leah's today. I'm not here, of course. Were in Barcelona for the weekend, enjoying themselves at El Clásico.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Enjoying life as some people do, while we're still here working. But hey, work must be carry on. And listen, let's get into it. Where else to start but the big Manchester derby today? Hey.
Yeah, okay, he's not used.
You know, I'm not used to this hosting stuff.
Let me do this. Because he's not used to hosting. It's a skill, people. It's a skill. It's something that has to be developed over the years. You know what I mean? He's not used to it. He does a few DR watch-alongs, but still not there.
Still practice. Still
not there.
Yeah.
As customary, obviously, it's not even good for me to say it because we took an L, but like we do on this show, if your team won 3 points today, hold tight the 3-point collectors.
Hey, this week, worldwide, up, down, north, south. Big up
and
yourself.
Of course, we have to give a little clap to the participants.
Hey, we appreciate you turning up. Better luck next week.
Now, let's get into the show. That's how you host. Let's go.
Now we can get into the big game. And listen, where else to start?
Yeah.
Than the Manchester derby that we just watched. Brother, 3 goals, 3 points, Man City at Old Trafford. But talk to me about kind of how you're feeling about the game. And I know before the game even started, when you saw that lineup, I want to kind of get your thoughts on that initially, because a lot of people were like, forget about it before the game had even kicked off. Was that kind of where you were at as well?
Simple, yeah, exactly that. But in reality, what lineup could we put out that I would be happy with? Zero. You know what I mean? There's not one lineup that Man United could put out that I would have probably been happy with. But that one, it's a 2023. I'm still seeing, Evans, Maguire, Lindelof in the back, McTominay, Ericsson. It's a cause for concern, And then the thing is, it's funny because even me, we were talking about why Varane's not in the team. And we all said, injury. We're getting onto him about being injury prone. Only for Ten Hag to come out and say it was tactical reasons. And that's bizarre to me. And I'm not even here to say Maguire was at fault. I thought Maguire was decent. But that's bizarre to me that you have Rafael Varane and you drop him basically for Evans, or you could say Maguire because Maguire was playing on the right-hand side, who you tried to sell this summer. Yeah. For me, that's weird, and we're going to talk about it later, but this is a lot of the problems that I have with Ten Hag. These type of decisions, these type of just lack of trust in certain players, dashing away certain players, relying in putting all his trust in some. So there's a lot of inconsistency in what Ten Hag does in his decision making. But as I said, the lineup matches the result. 3-0. it's what you expected. I don't think, Robbie, did you expect anything different?
I thought it'd be 3-1.
Yeah.
No, that was my prediction before the
Yeah.
game. I must say, you know, it's a very one-sided game. Once City got their first goal, it's a bit controversial, I thought.
Was that a pen?
It is a penalty, but
Thank you.
you see so many of those that are not given, right? The reality of it, what it is, right, is it's a penalty. If you look at it, he pulls it. Hoyland, before that, he tries to pull someone else.
Bro, he
Then
goes around 2 players to go
Yeah,
and grab
and he's grabbing him, and really and truly, those should be given as penalty. And Rodri's smart, right? Because he went down and then he run after the ref, and you know what I mean. So he made sure he made the ref know that I've been pulled back. But you do see that happen a lot in games, and even though it's fouls in other games, it's not given. So are they going to be consistent with this now, where they give this in other games? Because that's the only thing I looked at it and thought, I'm like, penalty, but they don't normally give them.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's a soft
that's.
one, definitely,
I don't
but
think it's even a soft one. I just think it's the fact that they don't normally give them.
Yeah.
It's actually a penalty. If he does that anywhere else on the pitch, it's a free kick.
I hate that term.
on the watch along.
Bro,
No, but I feel he is.
But in the box, I feel like in the box, you just got to have a little bit of different kind of common sense to then if you're anywhere else on the pitch. If
you
it's
know
anywhere
players
else,
are actively
yeah,
trying to
if
win
it's
penalties.
anywhere else on the pitch, okay, it's open space. He tries to bring him down. All right, you give it as a little foul, whatever.
But Rodri's running to attack the ball, and he's
ball
grabbed
wasn't-
him.
But the thing is, VAR is what allows you to go and double check these things. The trajectory of the ball. The ball was not going towards Rodri. The ball ended up in a Dallo and Ruben Diaz duel. I don't see how Rodri would not have been involved in that attack. So I think it's so soft. We see this on corners all the time, bro. Like, if we're going to do, as you mentioned,
I get what you're
we'll
saying.
give 5 penalties a game.
Yeah, where I agree with you, right, and where I have some sympathy for you is that, you know, we see these all the time and they're not given. So why have they given it in particular in this game? However, that aside, man, they dominated the game. The way they just passed United off the park. My problem with Manchester United is this. 2 problems I've got with them, right? It is that, number one, I don't know what their style is.
Thank you.
I know what Arsenal style, I know what Arteta's trying to do. I know what Tottenham's style is now this season. I know what Brighton, you know what I mean, Villa. I look at, they have an identity. I look at Manchester United and I'm like, what is the United way of playing now? What's the identity? What's the style? I just don't get what they're trying to do. Is it just pure counter attack? I really don't understand what the identity is. That's a number one. And number two, man, I think some serious questions need to be asked now with Ten Hag. I've been saying it since the start of the season. I know there's a lot of problems off the pitch with the Glazers and stuff like that, but they have given him a lot of money to. I spent over the last
400 million, about 400 million.
400 million over the last couple of windows, right? These are his signings now.
Yes.
You can't just keep looking at it and saying, you know, and I'm looking at that game and I'm thinking, Amrabat's your guy. And he looked...
And you took him off at half time.
And then I didn't understand why he took him off. I mean, maybe because of the yellow card, but you haven't really got another holding midfielder because McTominay, he's been playing well further forward. He's been doing all right.
Yeah.
And he looked a threat earlier on in the game. Why did you take him off?
Yeah.
And but then I just look at it, so many players. Anthony's your signing, you don't even want to play him.
Exactly.
Right? You know what I mean? You Mount.
Yeah.
He came on, I don't even know if he touched the ball in all the time he was on. But these are Ten Hag signings, all of these. He can't just keep saying, I know obviously the Maguire thing and that, but these are his guys now, and he's not getting a tune out of none of them. And I'm like, if you're a United fan, surely you've got to be worried, man, because I watched the highlights of their game during the week against Copenhagen. They just scraped that. I know man was getting happy because, you know, Anana, I mean, it's big save because that kept them probably in the tournament. In the Champions League, right? But they scraped Copenhagen, right? I watched them the other day when they played Brentford. That was a scrape job as well. I mean, I know they were
pretty much straight.
That was a scrape job against Brentford. What was the other game? There was another game they... Sheffield United. Scraped.
Yeah.
The way I see Arsenal play... that Sheffield United I saw yesterday, when Arsenal played them, United should not be scraping that.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the players that United have got, and I'm going, sorry, as obviously they're not as good as City. No, you know what I mean? City are the best team in the league still, right? But they should be doing better than that. They're at home, man.
Is that Ten Hag behind you?
Old Trafford.
Is that Ten Hag behind you? Yeah, bro, yo, tell him to go away, man. I'm not talking to you today right now, man. What the hell? How do you sneak in here, bro?
No, seriously, man.
You said something there, and I felt like City didn't even need to get out of second gear at a certain point. And that's the weird thing, is like you're saying the United players should be doing better, but they're not. And you talk about Ten Hag, but in a derby game like this, do you not feel like at least the players have an accountability to turn up?
Yeah, they do.
That's what I'm saying, though.
But as I
give
said,
a little more than what they're giving.
But you can't just do it as an individual. You've got to have what is the identity, right? Even, listen, your guy, right? Much as I hate to say it, Postecoglou, when Tottenham played Arsenal, I was like, hey, man, I have to admit, man, these men are playing some different style now, man. That's not the Tottenham I saw. Well, I'm not even talking about, when we play in a derby, it's always a tough game anyway, right? Yeah. But what I noticed with Postecoglou, it was completely different to Conte. He's got his own style. Yeah. Conte had his style. This is Postecoglou's style. You can see they want to get on the ball. They want to attack. They want to, they're pressing. They're pressing high at the front. And the other thing I noticed straight away when we play Tottenham is that it's like they're playing very brave football, fearless. They're trying out. They're doing things under pressure. I look at United. I'm like, when they came to the Emirates, I'm like, what are they trying to do? They were just passing the ball around at the back. I was like, oh, good. Keep the ball away from Rashford, man. You know what I mean? Because the one time they did get the ball long to Rashford, he scored. Yeah. I don't understand what Ten Hag is. What is the style of play?
That's the thing, though. Like you mentioned, like the signings that we've made, and I said it before, but we've made 8 signings. Yeah, and I'm not even including Amrabat. I said this before. I'm not including Amrabat. I'm not including Reguilon. I'm not including Weghorst and Sabitzer. These are loans. But if we want to include them, we can say he's made 10 proper first team signings, right? And we keep saying, oh, these are the same players. These are the same players. Blah 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 blah. If you make 8 signings, those same players should become uncomfortable. Yeah. They should be thinking, oh, I'm about to lose my place. What's going on? Oh, I'm going to have to try find another club. But we still need to rely on them same players.
The same players.
Because his 8
players are the best ones at the moment.
And his 8 signings are not good enough. That's why. That's why we're still relying on these same players. Everyone is sick of Rashford right now at the moment. Anthony, step up then. Ten Hag signing, right? Not doing anything. Højlund at the moment, he's a young striker. I'm not going to go on him, but he can't score a goal right now either. Amrabat, right? You're looking at, as I said, he's a loan, but you bring in Amrabat and he's probably going to turn permanent. You take him off to bring on your signing in Mason Mount, who you look like you have no plan for him. He's not started the last 3 games. Yeah. You take off Amrabat to keep McTominay on, who you tried to sell. I was gonna say, the only reason McTominay is in our lineup at the moment was why?
Couple of goals off the bench.
Couple of goals. So what do you go and do? Put him number 6. These are confusing decisions.
How long can you live and die by those decisions? Because I've said that to you as well. As long as he sticks with these guys, and he might not have any other options, but as you said, you have to implement some form of identity. You have to implement some form of style, some form of coaching.
We know these players, I've mentioned before, we know these players have a ceiling because they've shown us time and time again that they're not good enough. That in the end, we went through a long trophy drought. We know these players are not good enough. But if you can't sign to improve that, then the issue, we have to look at you as a manager, because the players that you're signing are meant to be in your mold. They're meant to be sponges to what you do, because you've identified them. For example, like Arteta, he might bring in Declan Rice or whoever, but he knows you're going to slot in perfectly because my team is designed and I already know what your attributes are and how you're going to influence this team. Whereas us, for example, Mason Mount, you don't have a clue we don't have a plan for what we want him to do in our team. So if your signings are not working out, that is a massive issue. And that is my biggest concern about Ten Hag. The identity stuff, 100%. But the players you sign are meant to dictate your identity. 8 signings after Arteta took over Emery, you started to see a little bit more of what Arteta wants in that team. Yes, the results weren't going the right way, but you're seeing a little bit more. By the time Ange has 8, it's going to be a completely different team to Conte. Yeah. By the time Pep took over Pellegrini, 8 is different. We can go on and on. Klopp to Brendan Rodgers.
But plus as well, it's about improving the ones that you've got.
Exactly.
Right? So as I said, if we've some of them Tottenham players they were there last year. Like Basuma.
Exactly.
Is the big one. That's Sarr.
Son.
You know what I mean? They were there last year, right?
Right?
If I look at that guy De Zerbi when he went into Brighton, it's the same man. Them.
Yeah.
Right. He's made even better. He's improved. You know what I mean? Like I keep looking. I said before with McTominay, I go, how is it that when the man's playing for Scotland, the man's playing so well, and then when he's playing for United, and it's only over the past few weeks you've seen, it's like they found a position for him. He's not, like you said, he's not a 6. He needs to play further forward. That's where he plays for Scotland, and he's been getting on the end of things and scoring goals and that. And like you said today, it was weird when he moved him back to, you could see he's not comfortable there. He's a bit like, over the years, I remember I always used to be saying, what's Xhaka's position?
Yeah.
What this man's doing, you play him as a defensive midfielder, he makes mistakes. Soon as we found his position, which was what Arteta discovered, his position, got him in, he's a box-to-box, different player. So, I don't know, I just think with Ten Hag, he's some strange, and he's got bopped off the park today, man, by a very good City team.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we expect City to do this, so people are going to be like, oh, well, why are you being reactionary or whatever? But the thing is, like, you've got to look at Man United. There we go. That's true. And you got to look at Manchester United. And this is actually going to go on to my point. We are one of the easiest teams to play against in the league. That is a massive concern. No matter what, you look at our squad, I think the players are average. I do not think this is a good team. But you're telling me that we should be easier to play against than teams like Palace, than teams like Brentford, than teams like... sorry, we should never be that poor with these, because if you go to man for man with these teams, there's a lot of players that you'll put from Man United into their teams. So there's no reason why we should be easier to play against them. So regardless of how we think of these players, we've seen that their ceiling probably battle for the top 4, maybe 6th and all that type of stuff. Yeah. But to be one of the easiest teams to play against in the league is down to coaching. None of our attackers have contributed to a goal this season, except from Rashford, with 1 goal, 1 assist between our whole attack. That's regression. We are regressing. We are worse than we were last season. And that is an issue. And people are going to say injuries and these types of... We're making excuses for what we're seeing. I'm going to read off some stats.
Go on.
We got -5 goal difference. Yeesh. 11 goals scored, 5 losses in 10 games this season. So we're losing 50% of our games. Now, if you put that into... If we stayed on this trajectory, we will lose 19 games this season in the league.
Well, you won't lose that many.
We won't.
You won't lose that many.
Okay. On pace.
Here's the thing, though.
I'm just saying, we are on pace.
On pace currently, yeah.
We are on pace.
If things don't turn around, and that's where I ask you now, what next for United? Because it's starting to feel like the murmurs of Ten Hag out or almost building. The players looking like they're playing without any confidence, any identity, any idea. How do United improve from this?
I mean, it's hard to... The thing about Manchester United, it's hard to pinpoint one issue. And that's the most annoying thing about this club. Like, some clubs, it might just be, change the manager. But there's one, we have to wait for the hierarchy situation, the sporting directors, all this type of stuff. We understand, we know. But one thing that is annoying me is that, like, we are basically just saying anything on the pitch that happens doesn't matter. Because
it absolutely does matter.
Because upstairs isn't sorted out. But I know to be a top football club, listen, I'm not saying to be Man City. I'm not saying to be Liverpool or Arsenal right now. I'm saying to be a competitive football club and not go out there every single week, look clueless, get battered. We let 21 shots at us today. It doesn't require a hierarchy sporting director for that. For you guys to just turn up and perform on the pitch. And for me to look at Manchester United and think this coach has an imprint on this team. That is not got anything to do with upstairs or whatever. Manager needs to coach. He is not coaching good enough. And the thing is, look, at the end of the game, it looked like the players had thrown in the towel or whatever. They're thrown in the towel because one thing that we need to implement is that They're thrown in the towel because they were battered into submission today. A lot of these guys, they want to try and, the effort, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No, it's because you guys ain't good enough.
The Bruno, the
Let's
captain,
get that right.
was trying to kick everybody.
That's one
we
person
go.
I actually want to talk about, Bruno. Like, do you feel like he's actually captain material? Because at times, I can't lie to you, it feels like he is almost like the negative Nancy on the team where the petro. I understand, complaining and fighting for your team and everything, but there comes a point when it just feels like you're complaining and moaning. Your performances are not there. I've always said, I think, I've liked Bruno, but I've always said he's a big fish. He's better off being a big fish in a small pond. Coming to United now, the lights are bright, and I feel like he's almost been given too much free reign. And that kind of, you saw it simmered a little bit when Ronaldo came in last year. You saw him being much more of a team player, dropping deeper positions. This year, he's back to being head honcho. And I can't lie to you, this season, he has absolutely reeked. Not just on the pitch, but as a leader. In every facet you could look at Bruno, he has failed Man United this season. And what point do you start to look at him and be like, this guy is not captain material?
I personally would strip Bruno off captaincy. Though his behavior on the pitch is a joke. It's a joke. And everyone only finally saw it with the 7-0, with the loss or whatever. And that's when Ian Wright and all these people were getting onto him.
Yeah.
But he does this all the time. Bruno, when the game is not going right, it becomes the Bruno show.
Yeah.
I'm going to moan, I got kicked. I'm going to moan, referee, it's me v you for the whole match. Focus on the game.
Yeah.
You're the captain. You're the one that's meant to be inspiring these guys. When you're just yapping away at the ref 24/7, it's even distracting, bro. Always becomes the Bruno show. For me, yes, I've heard that he's liked in the dressing room. So I'm not saying he's a bad person or anything. He's liked in the dressing room. But on the pitch leadership, he is not a leader. He is not inspiring. It's the reality of the situation. That is not a Manchester United captain. Historically, we've had some really top leaders. He is not He is not one of them. And his performances now, because he's not getting goals, he's not getting assists, we're seeing the real Bruno.
Yeah.
We're seeing a guy that gives the ball away. We're seeing a guy that can't dribble out of anything. We're seeing the guy that gets pushed off the ball. He's petulant. It's becoming embarrassing, bro. And I'm not even abusing him or nothing, but these are the reality of the situation. Bruno is not a leader on the pitch in any shape or form.
What do you say to that? Because it's kind of a similar thing that I was actually, funnily enough, saying about Odegaard, where like in these kind of big games, you look to your captain, you look to your leaders on the pitch, you look at your best players and say, get me out. Or can you at least carry us through this 10-minute rough period? Can you help us see it out? You see it Virgil at Liverpool. What do you kind of think of Bruno's role at
First
United?
one, the Odegaard thing, he is a leader, right? And what I like about Odegaard is he never hides, and you never see him carrying like that. He's just a player over the past few weeks been off form, but you'll never see him hiding. You'll never see him not encouraging. You never see him, you know what I mean? So I think he's definitely a leader. But yeah, Bruno today, at the end of that game, he's just running around trying to kick people, man. You know what I mean? I was just like, yo, bro, come on. You know what I mean? I agree with everything you said there. You know what I mean? You're the captain, right? You're the captain. You're supposed to lift up the players and lift up the young players and encourage and, you know, all right, you can see it's not going your way, but
He's
it's
acting
one
like a teenager.
At the end of the day, if you're an experienced player, you know it's one game.
Yeah.
So you got to say, right, we've got to just galvanise ourselves and get ready for next week. But just going back to the United thing as well, overall, I think the fearful thing for it is that I've not really seen them put in a top performance this season.
Don't say this season, since March, Robbie.
Yeah, they're just
Since March,
scraping.
Robbie.
Even when they're winning games, as I said, they're scraping it. They're not convincing, and it's not like if the home form starts to go for United, because that's the fortress. Even last season, that was a fortress. I remember we went up there, man, and we played brilliantly. We still lost, right? But if that starts to go, then United are in trouble because you know what I mean.
6 of our next 7's away.
Sorry?
6 of our next 7 games are away, and we were shocking last season away.
Away, you
and
were
as
poor,
you mentioned, we only lost to Brighton at home last season.
Yeah, but you've already.
And this season we've lost 3 games, I think it is. At Old
Yeah, and
Trafford.
as I said, that one the other day, that Brentford one, man. Remember, it was McTominay with a little last minute.
Yeah. Wolves
salvage.
Wolves in the first game of the season.
Yeah, that was very
lost.
fortunate.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just looking at it. I'm just thinking there are some issues there for He's got to galvanise the team, man. He's got to, because I just
Dubai,
don't see.
Maybe a mid-season Dubai trip or something like
yeah,
Sam Allardyce.
They need something.
He's already used the training ground family barbecue tactic.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't what. But when you look at Ten Hag, like, does he inspire you when you watch his press conferences, when you see him on the touchline? Does he give you that charisma? Does he inspire you? And I remember when I was saying this about Graham Potter at Chelsea, the Chelsea fans were abusing me, and then they ended up changing their mind about it. Does he inspire you? When he talks, does he captivate you? When Arteta speaks, when Ange speaks, when Pep speaks, when Klopp speaks, even De Zerbi, you sit, even Thomas Frank, when these guys speak, you look at, you listen to what they're saying.
Conviction.
When Ten Hag speaks, I swear, I could just be like on my phone like,
Do you know what's so crazy? Because at
But he
points
doesn't
last
inspire
season,
me,
I felt
bro.
like he did. At last season, I felt like the first 6 months, when I feel like it's almost like a results thing. When the results are going well, your voice and you command the room a little bit better. But when results are going
But he's
bad,
sounding, now he's saying anything in the press conference.
and
Sounding
now
like
he
Ollie.
does sound
He's
crazy in
sounding
certain
like
ones,
Ollie.
yeah.
He's starting to talk like Ollie.
The thing is about it, right, as well. The difference between him and Ollie, though, right, is that Ollie, when you look at the players, they look happy. It looks like an unhappy camp as well. You've had, obviously, the Sancho thing, right, the Jadon Sancho thing, and then, like, players just look even today, I was looking at the bench, right, when he made a couple of them substitutions, the fans, you could hear, maybe you guys on the stream,
loud
they were
boos towards the
booing.
end.
Right, you looked at players like Anthony and that, they were on the bench shaking their head as if to say, "Yeah, what's the point? When's Nacho going to play?"
Yeah.
To me, you know, what I mean, that's when he came on, when we played them, he was the bright spark. Listen, I'm glad when I'm playing United that Garnacho's on the bench.
Yeah.
Because to me, he looks a player, right? I know he's still young, he's still raw. But when's he gonna? He's got to start playing these guys more, getting these men playing more.
The problem is he's in Rashford's position, and Ten Hag has come out and made it a thing to say we're gonna play Rashford through his bad form. You know, we're not gonna drop him. He's gonna play once that first goal comes. He's gonna come, and that's a risk.
That's another player though as well that looks to me unhappy.
Yeah, but Rashford does this all the time.
No, but Rashford.
1 second he's happy.
Why is Rashford out so wide? He seems to be right out on the touchline, right? The ball doesn't get to him enough. He doesn't get into the game enough. He's not seeming to be getting as central as he did last season. Remember last season, even though he's playing out wide, he'd be central a lot as well.
It's to use him on the counter, though, I think. It's to, when you lot do get the ball,
He's
you
an
can
outlet.
launch it into the kind of channel and he can kind of chase
But
those.
I said
at some point you got to try
though,
something different.
I said from the beginning as well, when they signed Rasmus Højlund, I said that's a lot of pressure for a kid.
20-year-old,
Right, to just say, right, you've literally asking this kid to hit the ground running immediately. And it's going to be, we know the Premier League, man.
Gary
Premier
Neville
League's
said
tough.
it. Gary Neville said the striker, number 9, is the most number 9 for Manchester United is the most pressured position in football, he said. And we put that on a 20-year-old.
Speaking of United legends, Roy Keane's actually come out with a quote just after the game as well. He said, "The first thing I do is change the captain. Bruno Fernandes is not captain material. He's moaning all the time. He's the complete opposite of what a captain should be."
This is my club's greatest ever captain speaking.
That is a damning statement. I can't lie to you.
And it's the fact of the matter. I hadn't even seen that. And it's the fact of the matter.
And then who's the other leaders on the pitch?
That's the thing.
Right now, because right now, one of the things I'm liking about I don't like to keep referring to my team,
go
Arsenal,
for it, man. It's a good
I'm looking at it, I'm like, there's a lot of leaders on that pitch, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Odegaard, I think, is a good leader. Rice is a proper leader. Saliba, Gabriel.
You develop
is another
leaders,
leader
though,
as well.
You develop leaders in your
Even
team.
Saka shows a lot of leadership on that pitch.
He was giving a team huddle talk yesterday.
Yeah. So
I saw that.
But I look at United. Who's that?
Yeah.
But the thing is, you develop leaders by winning.
Yeah.
When you win, everybody starts coming, speaking out more.
I guess so.
Everybody starts becoming a leader. Look at Man City. They don't care who has the captain armband.
Yeah.
It's passed between whoever. Hey, Bernardo, do you want it today? Walker, Diaz. It doesn't matter. Do they all strike you as big leaders of football clubs?
Because they all take responsibility and they all take accountability for their roles, which I think lacks a lot of United. And this actually shows it even more. It says, Man United have now lost as many Premier League games at Old Trafford since Sir Alex Ferguson retired as they did during his 26-year tenure.
So in 10 years, we've lost as many as his 26 years.
As his 26 years.
Bloody hell.
And this is
Madness.
where we are. This is
absolute madness. But let's touch on the other side of the game as well. Man City. What do you kind of make of their charge now? Because before the international break, they'd lost to you guys, dumped out to Newcastle. People were looking at them as if, they might not look the same. But I always say they do this every year, where they kind of, it's the team.
I weren't looking on like that at all.
Was this kind of like a statement?
Listen, even when we beat them, right, I said, that was more a statement for us. Ourselves, where we can say we can beat City, and we're serious contenders, right? But in no way did I think that that's them affected. It's a long season, right? And they've just got so many players that have been there, done that. They've got the mentality, and they got such an excellent side. And I just thought they were brilliant today. You know what I mean? I thought Bernardo Silva, he was just running. He went wherever he wanted. He just run the game.
Even
right?
Jack Grealish on the
Grealish was excellent. You know, he's been out. This is when I talk about teams where they're well run and everyone's happy. He's been out for, Doku's been starting all the games, right? But he comes in today. Excellent performance. Haaland, Rodri, Foden as well. I thought was really good today. You know, Gvardiol was good. Yeah. You know, they've just got an outstanding team, and they've got a top manager who demands very, very high standards of that team. What you said is accountability with every player. Players like Walker, outstanding. You know what I mean? You know, although he the funny thing about that game, United did have a couple of chances because Walker did get caught out that time.
By Holland on the breakthrough.
Rashford does that though, innit?
He'll give you a little gap to think, go on, try and get it.
On the whole, excellent. And they're going to be, they're the team to beat again this year. Even though, Tottenham are doing well, Arsenal are doing well, Villa playing well, certain teams, they're going to be the team to beat because one thing that I found, and got to realise last season. Believe.
We're going to do this.
Believe.
We?
One thing.
We? You speak French?
We're going to do this.
Caught him out there.
No, it's him. I'm mocking what he was saying. What are you talking about?
No, one thing I realised last season. One thing I realised last season, right, is that, it's a long race, man.
Yeah.
It's a long race, man, and, so
this was the type of game I just felt like City almost showed their teeth a little bit, where it's like Haaland getting back to form, Foden showing a little bit of magic.
I don't think Manchester United's the game.
United did. I have to say though,
for bragging rights,
I was just going to say
this is just
United did make it.
It's a training ground.
I don't think they take us seriously.
I was going to say United did make it a bit easy for them, man, because. I thought, I thought the game, like when we played them the other day, man. They knew there was a lot more quality about us. United just made it too easy. You're at home at Old Trafford. Stick it on them a bit.
Yeah.
I just thought it's a derby, man. In Manchester derby,
it's crazy.
If I was a United fan, I would have been very, very disappointed.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think every United knows the reality of it. City are a better team.
Yeah.
But stick it on them a bit, man. It was like a bit.
Yeah, it's scary how tactically, how technically, how physically. How physically better they look than Manchester United. They can run harder. You go 50-50 with them. They're going to win that ball. They're dominant aerially. It's scary how Manchester United can't even match on them basic principles with Man City. When Doku came on, he was bouncing people off as if like, I thought, what, is this Prime Yaya Toure or what's going on here? Like, we can't match these guys physically. There's nothing on the pitch or as a club that we can do to the level of Man City. And that's the scary part. But what you're saying about the title race, I fully agree. City are the team to beat. Like, the loss against Arsenal, yes, that was a wake-up call for them. But you're going to lose games, of course, in the season. But Man City is simple as they have the best players, they have the best manager. So they're going to be the team to beat. And they're the ones with the experience. So Arsenal's chasing back. They're trying to finally get to that pinnacle, that mountain. Even when Liverpool won the league, Liverpool blew everyone away. Liverpool won 26 of their first 27 games that season. So it was like, bye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But City are still there. They're still there. What is it? Within 2 points of Arsenal and you guys? So it's not like, oh, we've dropped off.
And
No,
that's-
they're
that's-
level on points.
Yeah, it's different.
That's what kills me about us being mentioned in all these title races. I'm like, every week we're winning. So is everyone else. So it's like the gap isn't really that big. So City, for me, as you said, will always be kind of almost like the barometer.
Do you think Liverpool-
what you used to say
Liverpool
with
gonna give
Salah
a
and the
shout
Golden
this
Boot.
week?
Yeah, Liverpool's definitely.
Liverpool could be up there this year as well.
Definitely, yeah. I
They're
think
very
they're
good
only
side.
3 points behind as
Liverpool
well.
have problems. Liverpool have problems this season.
Yeah, Haaland nearly 50 goals in a year, just over a year of being in the country. I think he's got 47
In the Premier League.
In the Premier League.
Scored 10 this season, and people are saying,
Bro,
"Oh,
the guy is a freak. 2 goals today, and could have got his hat trick as well, and then selflessly kind of.
I'll tell you
gave
what.
it to Foden.
I'll tell you what. The only United player that I think played well today was Onana.
Yeah.
Because if he made a couple of wicked saves, man, and if it weren't for that,
Yeah.
I've heard this story before, though, innit? I've heard this
David
for
De
years.
Gea.
David De Gea became our record holder for Club Player of the Year. Man, he won it 4
4 years
times.
in a row.
Goodness, man. And when your goalkeeper is the man of the
never let
match,
us forget, man.
when your goalkeeper is the man of the match, your
Listen,
club
good
is
sign.
he was
Not
linked
good
to a
sign.
return this week.
Yeah,
mid-season,
I swear
maybe.
if that
So
happened,
watch this
I will stop
space.
watching Man United. I will stop watching Man United. That's impossible. That's impossible.
Hey, FCM will still be bringing you that good content
Yeah,
regardless. Listen, make sure you're smashing the likes if you're enjoying this as well, because we will now move on to the next game, which is obviously the 5-0 Arsenal versus Sheffield. I feel like it's only right. You know, a real statement win. I feel like, of course, some people will say
Not about
some
statement.
Statement. No, sorry, I meant a statement performance from Eddie. Is what I meant to say.
Yeah,
Actually,
he played well.
I felt like this was a game for him. Obviously, Jesus out injured again. But
Yeah.
what did you make of that? Obviously, because I know you love a bit of Eddie. So
you know what it is, right? I hear when Arsenal fans are saying that Eddie is not your number one striker. He's not. And I'd still, if we get the chance, if we have the money and can afford to get Ivan Toney in January, I'd love us to go and do that, because I think we need like a real main focal point striker. But Eddie as a second striker, as a player that comes in, some of the criticism he gets of even some of our fans, that's why I'm battling always for his cause. I think he's very unjustified, because I see him coming a lot of times. He comes in. So again, yesterday, Jesus is out. Jesus, the main guy, had a great game during the week against Sevilla. That unbelievable assist, great goal. He's our main guy. When he's firing, it's brilliant, Jesus, right? But he was out last season. Eddie comes in, does a job. We didn't really miss Jesus the way we should have missed him.
yeah.
Right?
January, wasn't it? Yeah, January.
He's
February,
out again yesterday now for a couple of weeks. He's got a bit of a hamstring. Eddie comes in, scores not just a hat trick. It was an excellent all 3 goals. The first and third goals in particular, brilliant. And he does that a lot. He comes in, and even after the game yesterday, when I was speaking to fans over on AFTV, and I'm speaking to some fans who are like, yeah, but there's a lot of buts, and I'm like, he scored a hat trick, and they go, yeah, but he started. One guy said to me, he started 30 odd games. No, he 30 odd games he played. And he scored, say, 5 goals. And I said, that's a very unfair stat, because remember, a lot of those games, he's not started. He comes on. I've seen him come on in games, right, where literally you can see he's been sent on to, like, just keep them occupied at the front there for the next 10 minutes and let's see out the game. You can't judge a guy off of that. You know what I mean? And he'll come on and he'll do that job. So
he hasn't. I don't think he's played double-figure starts in any of the 4 or 5 seasons.
No, and I think I saw a match of the day. You know what I mean?
I saw that. Yeah.
I saw that stat where he starts games. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I think it was 9 games he started last year, 8 the year before, and then 5 the year before that or something.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's.
And he scored goals in those starts. He had a good goal scoring record in that. You know, so I think he gets a very unfair treatment sometimes. You know what I mean? I like what, you know, I always like to see a player that's come through the ranks doing well. And the other thing I like about him, it was something that you touched on a bit about United, right? I don't see that guy never hides. He'll miss a chance, he's back on it again. Now, as I said, he's not a world-class striker. He's not Harry Kane. He's not Son. He's not these man them, right? I know that. But I think as a guy who comes in, there's not many. I mean, you look at all the other top teams.
Strikers,
Who are their backups that come in and does?
And this is what I wanted to say. If people looked at Nketiah for what he is, you'd appreciate him more. If you look at him as
that's the right thing,
as a backup striker. Listen, it's not Nketiah's fault Jesus cannot stay fit. It's not his fault.
No.
If Arsenal want to get somebody better than Nketiah, you're probably going to have to get somebody that's probably going to drop Jesus. And Jesus is going to become the backup striker.
Yeah.
If you think you can, it's going to be easy to have Jesus and another striker better than him in this striker market is pretty unrealistic. So if you look at Nketiah for what he is as a backup, you realize he's one of the best in his position in the league, in that respect, and somebody that can come up and just do a job for a couple of games until the main striker is fit.
I can't think of many. Obviously, City have got Alvarez.
Yeah, of course.
That's a top.
He's
top
a starter, right?
Liverpool have Darwin Nunes.
And Liverpool have got a whole. Yeah, I mean Liverpool. But apart from that, who's got another striker that can come in? And
Teams
does
barely
what?
have one.
Bro, you guys tried to run Vinicius. we've been holding on to Martial for 30 years. Weghorst, like, so the issue is, it's just that people are looking at him in the wrong lens because he's being used so much. But as Robbie said, he's from Hale End, One thing is, in your academy, this is actually what you need your academy for. Somebody that can just come up the ranks and just so not everyone's
Be
gonna
happy to fill in the gaps when they need be.
Not everyone's gonna be a starter like Jack Wilshere's and these kind of guys. Sometimes you're just gonna need someone. You are free. You didn't cost any money.
Yeah.
You're gonna be our backup for the next 10 years. Let's say when Eddie Nketiah is 27, 28, go and be the starter for Villa or wherever
West
they
Ham,
are, and you'll probably be the captain one day or whatever. It happens. It happens all the time. I remember Darren Fletcher at Man United. And I'm not saying they're the same quality. He'll come in for games. He was from our academy. He'll come in, and then later on he became
West Brom captain, one of the highest appearances. Yeah,
this is how it should be, bro.
Sometimes you need that second guy who can. Remember Origi used to do that brilliantly at Liverpool, innit? Where he's not the main. He knows he's not the number one guy.
He's shown afterwards
but
as well.
Any time he come in,
he did his job.
He done his job, man. He'll score goals. He'll assist. He'll create problems. He'll work hard. You need that. This is a.
He's had a rough rap. And it's almost like a high standard being the Arsenal number 9, especially taking the number 14 shirt. So I think always adds that little bit more pressure. So the fans are always expecting a little bit more. But I think what you said there, if you take him for what he is, which is a backup striker, he will give you goals. And if you maybe give him a more consistent run of games, he might actually be able to give you more.
If Declan Rice got injured tomorrow, and El Neni had to play 15 games in a row, would you really be getting onto him in that extent? Like, this guy's rubbish, this guy. But he's a backup. He's not meant to play 15 games in a row. Do you know what I mean? He's not meant to. So that's how I see it. If Marcus Rashford gets injured tomorrow, right, let's just say, and Garnacho plays 15, 20 games in a row, I'm not going to expect him to be Marcus Rashford. He's not.
Happened at the start of the season when Garnacho
at
did
their
start
best.
those couple of games.
Yeah,
fans are like, "Yo, he's raw. He's not ready," or
there
whatever. So it all kind of changes.
But by the way, right, Declan Rice.
Talk to us, please, because
we've got him.
We're both big Rice fans. We've always been speaking on him, but having come into your club this summer, what has that been like, and what has he done to that midfield? Because you've had Partey injured, you've had Xhaka leaving. I feel like he's been doing two man's job at the same time, and no one's even blinked an eyelid about it.
You know he's the real captain of that team.
Everybody's
a captain until the captains walk in the room. You get me?
He's
Well, talk to me.
proper baller, man. Even last week against Chelsea, I thought the first half he didn't play that well. We had quite a poor game. Second half, he's the guy. You could even before the goal, he's the one stepping it up now. You can see that thing we was talking about, Bruno.
Bruno Rice, please.
He's saying to man, "Yo, come on now,
let's raise it.
We ain't coming here to lose." Yesterday, he's not even playing where he's been playing. He's playing a number 6 position because there was no Partey.
That's what the team needs.
Right, so he played and he was brilliant there. Assist for the first goal that, breaks the deadlock. He's a proper player. He's a player that we've needed for a while, man. He's starting to give me feelings of how I used to see Vieira.
Whoa! I was waiting for it. Okay.
Yeah, he's giving me them feelings.
Okay.
I knew it. Because
I'm not saying he's there.
No.
Listen, I'm not saying he's there. He's just joined us.
Yeah.
But he's giving me those feelings. In the Vieira, when I used to watch Vieira back in the day when I was at Highbury, You see Vieira, he was more than a DM.
Yeah.
People say,
No, Vieira's one of
but he was more than he could do everything required in that midfield. That's a lot of what I'm starting to see with Rice. That like I'm like, yeah, he's passing, excellent. Tackling, excellent. Like if you got to get box to box,
driving
excellent.
with the ball,
driving with the
dribbling
ball,
ability,
running
yeah.
with the ball, excellent. Like all
And
round.
even his passing now, the way he's looking up and finding more passes, I think we've always said that year after year. That's been for me the most impressive thing with Rice.
every
Is
season.
when he came into West Ham, he was plugging in at centre back. Then it was questions of can he play in midfield. Every year he grew his technical ability, his passing range, his started to get goals last year, and this.
And then
at
the
Arsenal now,
mentality,
you're
yeah.
seeing, and now at Arsenal, you're seeing him combine all of that at such a high level and on a big platform as well, where you're kind of thinking, oh, this might take a bit of time to adapt. The team's been playing one way, he needs to slot in.
100,
No, he said, you lot are going to play round me.
Yeah, and it's
I'm
very
gonna be the
similar.
main
£105 million
cog.
price tag on your head with a lot of pressure coming to Arsenal. Like the guy's not even
thing is,
like he's just brushed that aside.
He had already kind of completed his time at West Ham, and that's why winning that European trophy was perfect. It was like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
He had already been so Premier League proven that slotting into Arsenal, it's not going to be an issue. He's been in this league. Now he just needs a bigger platform to show himself. And how you're talking about his improvement, that's something I actually rate about Saka as well. If you look at Bukayo Saka from when he started and Declan Rice from when they started, and how each year they just get better.
They add new tools to their
They add new
toolbox.
tools.
Yeah.
That's
Martinelli's like that as
don't
well.
sleep on that kind of. I don't know how you can even quantify it as an attribute, but don't sleep on that like skill that each year they improve on something, and it's so impressive. But I want to ask you, Robbie, is he better than you thought he is? Did you kind of have like West Ham? You weren't watching West Ham as much and stuff.
No,
because
no,
for me, this is Declan Rice all the time.
For
when
me,
people are
right?
like,
for
I'm
me,
trying to tell you.
I remember. I always say this story, right? I remember Nicky, West Ham Fan TV. He's been from time saying, Declan Rice, always world class. I remember there was one. I think it was about a season and a half ago. We played them. It was around about Christmas time. And again, we did a preview of him. Declan Rice. Thinking, I'm going to keep my eye on Declan. We won the game. Yeah. But I said, it's almost like, them Sky things.
He might have been on top.
Those Sky things where you watch players, right?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm watching him closely. I'm like, then I started to, because, obviously you're watching your own team when you play games.
Yeah.
I watched him closely. I was like, hey, you know what? He's all right. This guy's all right. I go, this guy can see what Nicky's talking about. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
If it worked for him, man, West Ham would have been more of a pace team, right? So I knew he was good, but I have to admit, he's been better than I thought. I've seen him play for England. I've been, many times at England games, watched him play.
England,
always been very, very impressed with him. But
reserved.
again, but watching him play, I am very, very, very impressed with him. I think it's been an unbelievable signing. I think, Man United could have done with a Declan Rice.
Yeah, we tried.
He's good, man. He's very, very good.
He made a
I love his mentality as well. I love just everything about him, man. And the fans at the moment absolutely love him. And he's just hit the ground running. And I remember I was having me and Gunnar Lee was tangling in the summer because he wanted Caicedo. I said, no, Rice, for the same reason you said. Because I'm like, he's done it in the Premier League. He's coming like he's been in the Premier League for, he's only 24. Yeah. He seems like he's been in Premier League for about the last 15 years. Yeah. Right? That's the guy, he'll come in, he'll fit in easier. He's done it on the big stages for England as well. And he's just impressing me every week.
Odegaard, don't get too familiar with that armband, yeah? Trust me, don't get Odegaard.
Well, listen,
You're going to have to just do the Marco Royce, I'm going to hand it over.
Yeah, I think,
Blessfully hand it over to the real captain.
But you know what? If you think about it, right, nowadays with a lot of the teams, it's not even, it's the leadership group thing.
Yes.
We always used to laugh about this leadership group thing, but actually, there's a lot in that. There's a lot in that.
Yeah.
You've got certain players on that pitch that, they are literally like the manager's players.
No, 100%. You see that with Man City, as you were saying, Gundogan, Ruben Diaz, like Bernardo. They rotate between themselves, and you hope you can kind of build that. So one or two other players I want to touch on. ESR returning yesterday as well.
Yeah, it's great to see him.
Start.
Yeah,
what did you make of that?
Yeah, listen, he was great to see him. You could an assist for Eddie's goal, but boy, literally,
You know them assists that you're like, I saw Arsenal fans like, hey, yeah, someone got assists.
Yeah,
He said,
bro.
what?
Literally,
From the
they're
30-yard
trying
screamer,
it,
where it's a
they're trying
5-yard
it.
sideways pass.
trying
But
it.
Right, yeah, he looked lively. It's great to
Yeah.
see him back. I think he's, if he can get back to full fitness, people forget how good he was,
Do you know
but
one
yeah,
player?
he played really well.
Do you know one player I'm really liking? Every time I see him more and more, and Nketiah.
Played
What
well.
have you made of him since he's coming?
Played
'Cause
well,
When he
played
come
well.
in from Spezia, I don't think many people kind of knew about him.
Yeah,
But every
yeah.
time he's played, I felt like he's
Yeah, played
similar
well.
to what Eddie you expect. He just
Yeah.
kind of slots in.
Did well. Came in, did well. I mean, let's be honest, man. I think I could have been in centre back against Sheffield United, man.
Yeah.
Literally, all they did was put absolutely everybody behind the ball.
Yeah.
They didn't really come to attack. So, for you're a defender,
Yeah.
it's quite an easy day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could put your feet up. So, there'd be bigger tests to come, and then let's see what you can do in those. But he did well yesterday.
Yeah.
Kind of performance you expect against the Sheffield United, innit? That's why you can't get.
Yeah,
kind of
I
too-
mean, listen, they're very poor. Very, very poor. I mean, I know, obviously, they're not going to come and go toe-to-toe with Arsenal, though. We know that. But
Yeah.
they didn't offer anything.
no Odegaard
Anything.
yesterday as well.
Odegaard was completely rested. So,
Okay.
see, you think about it like,
He's saying it's not a rest.
Yeah, I know,
What's
man.
back, you know?
what I mean?
Hey,
Robbie, I was coming.
Over the
asking
weeks,
questions.
no Odegaard or Gabriel, both of them
Okay,
completely
just
rested.
rested.
I know you've been throwing hate out there, you know what I mean?
Hey,
I heard
been
about
throwing
you,
no
bro.
hate. Robbie,
I heard about you, bro.
Robbie. Alright,
You know,
let's
he's
clear
been
it
on
up, let's clear it
Odegaard.
up.
Man said,
I just said,
this
okay.
guy,
Can I clear it up?
Odegaard, one of the most consistent midfielders in the Premier League last season, and he's had a few,
Hey,
he's had a few poor games.
Last year, one of the best midfielders.
he's had a few
in the
poor
league,
games.
Easily.
That could happen to Madison.
He says that.
Fully
He said
agree.
that. He
You
said
know what I
that.
mean?
He said
Fully
that
agree.
Odegaard doesn't turn up in big games.
So
Nah, that's rubbish.
So my thing was,
He scored against you lot last year. Remember that?
I agree. That was.
He scored against you lot last year.
You see, this is how I know
We
Robbie
don't
didn't
turn
listen
up.
to what I said. You see, because I said in 2023, the big games he has been called up in, I don't feel like Odegaard has delivered, and I named them. There was the United 3-2 win that you lot won with the Saka and Rashford going total. I didn't think he was great in that game. Man City both times in the league and the FA Cup. The fact that it was in crunch time when you lot needed those performances as well. Then against Liverpool. Then this season there was the North London derby. I didn't feel like he was great. Against Chelsea, I didn't feel like he was great. And then when Norway got knocked out, which I said I watched against Spain, he wasn't great either. So I said for this year only,
he's had a
I've
few-
seen a little pattern forming. I said, ain't no questions.
All right,
But
if
court
he-
is coming up soon.
Listen,
That
he's,
2023 was adapted.
Thing is, right,
2023, we're watching.
he's had a bit of a poor spell in the last few games, and obviously, if you've got a guy down the road now that's on fire in their guy, right? People can start comparing him with Madison, this, that. You know what I mean? But yeah, Madison's on fire at the moment, and he's having a bit of a poor spell. But I'm very confident that he'll come back to form. He's still, even with that, I'm sure I think he scored a couple of goals already this season. So I got full faith in that guy. The one thing I know about that guy, what I like about him, is that
His mentality.
even if he's having a poor game, his work rate,
Yeah.
he still does I know people will say, oh, that's the least, but not everybody does it.
Yeah.
You just saying
Right,
about
look
Bruno.
at the way
and that, you know what I
Ericsson
mean?
walked past, let
So-
Rodri walk past him today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Embarrassing.
so I listen, I have no problems. He's going, every player has a little patch.
Listen, the
Where-
season is long anyway. He's got
Yeah.
plenty of time to kind of. Do you think there's been a change in the way he plays though? I feel like maybe when he was on loan, the first year or so, there was definitely a lot more creation and looking for my teammates.
Yeah.
Over the past 6 months, I feel like he's definitely become more of a let me get my goals
Shoot
as well.
first.
Shoot
Listen,
first kind
he
of
was one of the
midfielder.
main men last season. He
Yeah.
was the main guy. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of people saying, is it because Havertz has come in that's affected the dynamic with him? But I don't think you can say that. You know what I mean? I think he's just been having, he's just had a few poor games.
Yeah.
And that's for him, as a professional footballer, to lift
kind of
yourself
figure it
out
out.
of that and just say, it happens.
Yeah.
You know, but I still got full faith in him. You know what I mean?
It's
And
the way the football, man. Football tribalism, man.
Nah.
As soon as, as I said, like people look for wins in weird places. You know,
Yeah.
if if Odegaard has a bad game, somehow that's made Bruno a better player. Even though he's thinking out every single week, or that's just where it is every single time.
And it's compounded, as I said.
Everyone, Madison's doing his thing right now.
Every time he touches the ball, man, he turns to gold. You know what I mean? I'm seeing at the moment.
And the thing is, that's probably not going to even. You can't expect that to last. I'm sure we're going to talk about Jude Bellingham. We're going to talk about Jude Bellingham later, but it's like, when you're in that moment where everything you touch turns to gold, we had it with Marcus Rashford last season. Hey, Rash sanity moment. Then all of a sudden it can dry. I'm not saying he's going to drop off to that level, but you know when everything touches,
I just feel like Maddison has kind of come in similar like Rice. Just take it to it like a
he has
season in the Premier League, and just kind of ready to kind of move.
You have to say at the moment, he's probably
the player of the year,
been the best signing in the summer. Like if you look at,
I agree.
You know, if I'm being honest, and you look at what he's done, and the impact that he's had,
the value, was it 40?
Yeah,
that's
40 million, and with Harry Winks going the other way for 10 million, so technically 30 million.
That's
and I was
insane. That's that relegation money, man.
And I looked at Mason Mount today, and I was like,
we got our 3 points, of course, on Friday. They tried to set us up for a little bit of failure twice in a week. I said, hey, man.
No, but that's because you're. I'll tell you what that is, right? Because we used to get them Monday.
Yeah.
It's when you're not in Europe.
Yeah, no.
So,
I understood.
so
there was definitely going to be 1 or 2 weeks where we had to play some double games. But for me, I thought poor performance in the first half, but then second half started to liven up a little bit. I thought Son and Maddison, the way they're kind of carrying us this season, and the boys at the back, I call them, Van der Ven and Romero with Vicario behind them, they're forming a nice little trident of almost.
Yeah, I like that Van der Ven, man. He's
quality,
good.
Man. Quality.
I think.
Do you look at?
It's a bit like with Saliba in that.
Yeah.
They're quick.
Yes.
So even if there's a mistake or you beat them or there's a foot race, you ain't beating them.
100%.
And they're strong, so you can kind of leave. It's almost like you can leave them one-on-one situations with many players. And be confident that they'll deal with it.
He's a young Varane.
Yeah.
He's a young Varane. Mickey van der Ven is a young Varane in terms of the recovery pace, the ability in the air, the ability on to actually make tackles as well. Because he makes a lot of tackles.
Bro,
more tackles than normal centre-halves do. Because he's always in that sprint kind of situation.
Motion,
He is mad. His athletic ability is crazy. He proper reminds me, just physically and the way he plays, of a young Varane, man. It's mad.
I think he's been one of the biggest surprises for me this whole Premier League season. I don't think even any optimistic Spurs fan expected him to be this good. And I'm looking at him and Romero like yin and yang almost. Romero's the aggressive front foot one. You can do all the covering and sweeping. But the beautiful thing is they're both able to do each other's roles as well. Romero can cover. He can be the front foot aggressive defender as well. So I was going to ask you as an Arsenal fan, are you looking at Spurs almost in a similar light like how you guys were last year? It's almost like a little horse year. Or are you looking at them like they're actually building something serious there? They could make a deep run.
I'm a little worried they're building something, man, because, I think the manager, as I said, I go for what I saw, right? When we played them, that's a much better Spurs than I've seen over the last few years, right? The man's that's what I'm saying, even when I look at with United, because I can see improvement straight away. And there's certain players playing there that they were there last year. And they didn't look like that. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, they're playing different. They're playing with confidence. In Maddison, they've got a very, very good player there. We all know about Son already. And like you said, at the back, they look a lot better with Van der Ven and that. I still think Spurs, number one, they take a lot of risks. And listen, that's how he's asking them to play. And it's working so far. But, what if there's a couple of losses, but at the moment it's working. And obviously, I think with Spurs, it's the squad. Maddison and Son, they're key. You know what I mean? And I think at the back, Van der Ven, or, especially Van der Ven, I feel is key. Right? You could put someone else in alongside them, but if one of them goes out, so it's how will Spurs weather that? It's probably a good job Spurs this season have got only that one game.
100%.
Right? Because how would they weather that? Like, for instance, Arsenal... Already this season, we've had to weather no Partey for literally, he's hardly played this season, right? Injuries. Jesus was out at the start. I remember the start of the season. He then had another little recurring problem with his knee, was out. Then he comes back, does well, and he's out again. If Spurs get that, how are they going to weather that? I'm not sure, because it's kind of like they've got a very good 11,
Yeah.
outside of that.
But I have to say, as I just go back and say, one thing I would say, and when I compare them to United, is that I still see them, I see Højbjerg does not look like the Højbjerg of last year when he's come in. He's done better. He's looked better. He's looked more confident.
Good coaching.
Yeah, whereas, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I
Ten
feel
Hag
that
you're not seeing.
I don't think Tottenham, personally, I don't think the squad is going to be enough to challenge for the league, but I definitely think they've got a massive shout for top four, man. They're decent. They're a good side, man.
They'll make top four. They should.
You know, much as I hate to say it,
even me,
as much as I hate to say it, I have to say
them within getting top four.
Yeah,
it's just
I as an Arsenal fan, but I have to be real. They've got a good side.
Yeah,
and their manager at the moment, you have to hand it to him, man. He's got them playing different. That's not, they're playing different at the moment. So
I would say the only thing that I would say with Spurs is I do think your defensive style is too reliant on Van de Ven's recovery. If he gets an injury, you're going to have to defend so differently. You're going to... That halfway line thing that you lot are doing right now...
Yeah, no, they can't do that.
Yo, I'm telling you now. I watched it against Palace. I was like, this is too much. He's doing too much, like, saving the ship here.
Bro, I love it.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, this is a bit... If he gets replaced with... Who's your next option? Dyer.
Ben Davis or Dyer.
Come on. It's a complete... maybe you guys... have felt this with the holding Saliba kind of thing.
Well, that was it.
There's a complete difference in the defensive style.
By the way, just going back to our team, right? That guy, Saliba, I'll put in a shout in for him right now as... I see the moment. I think he's the best centre-back in the Premier League right now.
Johnny Stones, Ruben Diaz.
Yeah, I'm putting them above. Listen, they've got a better body of work. Diaz, I think Diaz is world class, by the way. I think Johnny Stones, but right now, I'm just saying right now, bro, I back my guy, man. I remember when we played him the other day.
You're throwing Romero in that now?
Aye, listen, I'll say it. We're talking right now.
Right now. Remember the other day.
My boys are in there.
Remember the other day when we played, right? We played City twice this season. He's locked down Haaland. Haaland didn't have a shot. One shot in the game against Arsenal, right? Not to say, listen, Haaland's world class and scary, right? But to lock him down, you saw today.
Yeah.
To lock down Haaland, because Haaland's the sort of guy, right, that he'll do nothing for half the game and then just pop up bang with moments. So you've got to be so concentrated. But I just think that Saliba at the moment, honestly, he's...
How did a Mickey Van de Ven conversation turn into a Saliba?
You know these Arsenal fans, they was bringing back to them.
This ain't AFTV, mate. This ain't AFTV, Robbie, all right? This is FCM.
Hey, listen.
All right, what do you lot think?
Van de Ven,
What do you guys think?
I think he's one of the best, but I'm not ready to give him the best stamp.
I always got...
Okay, all right, he's near.
When I look at pure defenders, I say Ruben Diaz is the best. If you're looking the totality of it, playing with the ball, I look at John Stones. I look at those two. They're the barometers.
I always give it the guys that have won it and been in the highest level moments. That claim.
Right.
But don't get twisted. I've already said for his position, I think Saliba is generational, bro. I think
he's the one guy on your team. I can't. I have no
he's top 5 easy.
And what you just said there is a perfect example of what we're saying a bit about Tottenham, because when he was out last season, near the end,
different type of defending.
And then it's Rob Holding and these guys.
But what you said there is so key. I think that high line that we play now, and I've always said the balls into the channel is our weakest areas. He has been saving our lives.
He's saving your
with
fullbacks.
those recovery
He's saving
runs.
Romero. Your keeper doesn't even have to sweep.
Facts.
He's there.
No, facts.
It's mad what he's doing. It's mad what he's doing.
By the way, that's a good... that's my last praise for Tottenham. Last. But the keeper's good as well. The keeper's impressive.
Very good. I think considering we wanted Raya for what, 30 million, 40 million, to get him for 13 million.
Yeah, he's been good. But listen, one thing I would say, man, I was frustrated watching. I know they've had a lot of injuries. They've got a lot of injuries at the moment. I was frustrated watching Palace, man. They needed Eze in that game, man. They needed Eze.
No Eze and no Elise.
You lot got lucky.
We might leave Selhurst with something. But nah,
Son up top. Obviously, you want to move on, but Son up top, man. Honestly, for this system, for the way Spurs play at the moment, He's the perfect number 9. And hey, I'm going to go back to that old shouts.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Our Spurs.
You're going to slander
Yeah,
Because you're always dissing Son.
Nah,
No,
Son
no,
as
no,
a
no.
9.
Last year I was saying he dropped off, rightly so.
When Son plays 9,
Yeah.
we're seeing that Spurs are actually a better side than without Hazard. Now, I think if Harry Kane was in this team, with Ange's team, it'll be ridiculous. Pre-season, he scored so many goals. But Son, you remember that Champions League final, that Champions League season? Son was the 9, man. Spurs had reached their pinnacle ever. This season, title dreams.
Hey!
Son as a 9,
Don't
though.
gas me.
Honestly, though, he's ambidextrous, right?
Yeah.
So that's the fact that he can go both ways as a 9 is so difficult for a defender because you can't show him left, you can't show him right.
Yeah.
And we've always known, as a finisher, he's one of the best finishers in the world. He's overperforms his XG pretty much every single season. It's one of the best XG over performances ever, I believe it is. So Son is just a ridiculous finisher and a proper 9. The fact that there's so much difference that people don't look at sometimes the intricacies of things, right? His movements on the left, I don't know if he's got the power anymore for it.
Bro,
He's the dribbling ability.
do you
But the
remember in the summer
movements
I was
in the
saying this?
center, when you're just occupying a couple defenders, it's a lot different.
You
How
did
many
say
times?
it. He did.
How many
He
times
said
did I
it,
say
bro.
this in the summer though? Where
Yeah.
he should be moved into the middle
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
you
like
said
he's
it.
lost
You said
that
it a lot.
1v1 ability.
Yeah.
He's lost that ability to take his man on and actually beat him with that raw pace.
Yeah.
But what he still
You can
has
still do it in the
is
middle.
finishing. He still has good close control. So guess what? Use it into areas
You
where
also,
he's more
also
dangerous.
slept on as well. His actual fox in the box ability.
Yes.
That's mad
Sniffing it
slept
out.
on. Yeah, that is actually what makes him
No,
a proper
facts.
9. Because there's many people that can probably go up top. Rashford can go up top. He was scoring some
Score a
goals.
couple, yeah.
But that little, can you sniff
And that
out
second goal
goals?
showed
Son's
it.
always there. Back
Second
post.
goal
I'm
He's
ready
there.
to move on now. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm too.
Hey, listen, top of the table for another week.
Let's get to them losers. Let's get to them losers.
Let's get to them West London boys.
Hey,
shall
May's
we?
done a runner. You see what I'm saying? People, man.
Them West London boys, they're not even safe in their own
ends, bro.
3 times they have lost at home to Brentford now in a row. Like, what did you lot make of that? 2-0 as well. And I'm sorry, but Brentford fully deserve that, in my opinion, as well. You could say Chelsea had their chances, but when you are as toothless as they are, I'm sorry, there can be no excuses. You don't finish your dinner,
Chelsea.
you don't be dinner.
Yeah, listen, Chelsea offensively are just not good, bro. Like they build well, actually. Cole Palmer, he could put some chances on a plate, but they just can't finish. You know what I mean? They're so tame in front of goal. Whether it's Raheem Sterling, whether it's Nico Jackson, Noni, whoever you want to put up there, they're so tame in them areas, and that's the problem with them. Like, so I wouldn't get onto Poch too much in that case, but the time that I will have to get onto Poch is that if you don't win the game, don't lose.
Yeah.
They always seem to, they're still easy to play against. And that's the problem. And that's down to Poch as well. The defenders, a lot of the time, because obviously the attackers are missing, the defenders are kind of getting away with it a little bit because it's looking like the attacker are losing Chelsea the game. But you guys still have to be switched on. You lot still have to concentrate. That first goal that Brentford scored, that's embarrassing from the defenders. Do you know what I mean? You're not
Back
concentrating.
post.
It doesn't mean just because you don't win, okay, frustrating 0-0. All right, cool, but the patterns were there. Why do you have to lose? Why do you have to lose? You still got to set up yourself to be hard to beat. And Chelsea, I just feel like once that goal doesn't come, all of a sudden, they're going to concede. And then they can't get a goal to get back into it. So that's what they need to work on at the moment. But it's their attack, though. Come on, man. It's embarrassing what they're doing up there. Honestly, they're like us. Well, we're worse, actually. Let me check
I know you're looking forward
statistics.
to cooking Matisse tomorrow morning early on in the round.
Matisse, remember when I was there, yeah? We're mud brothers, bro. Don't try.
Robbie was there.
My future, my future's better than your future. Allow it, bro. Allow it.
What do you make of Nico Jackson though? Are you
Very raw.
Yeah.
Very raw. Like, probably if we have the same conversation in a couple of years' time, probably be way better. But at the moment, again, another guy who's been brought in to lead the line, who's not really ready for that yet.
No, but
He's not really ready for that. This is what we listen, Eddie's way better than him. You know what I mean, when we talk about him, but he's raw. He's raw to the league. He's raw. I know there was a load of Chelsea fans excited about him at the start of the season, said he had a good pre-season. That's pre-season.
Yeah.
This is the big man thing now, right? And he just looks very, very raw to me. I don't know. I keep hearing this thing. I think they said Chelsea XG. They lead the way.
Yeah.
But I keep
XG,
this
chances
XG
created.
thing, man. I want to. You know what I mean, that don't mean nothing really when you got to put away the chances. Brentford, it was a classic Brentford performance where they come, not really smash and grab, you know, because they had big chances as well even before that.
Yeah.
It was their tactics. Their tactics is come,
Set up and
be solid, right, and limit the chances of Chelsea, which, you know, a lot of Chelsea's chances were long range. And then our chances will come at some stage, and that's how they operate. They nearly pulled it off against United, remember? There's only really a couple of goalkeeping errors I felt that cost them in that game, and they would have got a win at United. But at Chelsea, they pulled it off, man, and they got those a guy that I think is the most underrated player in the Premier League, is that Mbeumo.
Yeah, I was just about to say them exact words.
Right? They got him up front. When we talk about, I was talking about earlier about a player like Eddie stepping in and players stepping up when this guy's coming. Well, not even come in. He's had to step up with Tony being out.
Yep.
And
He's
he's
got 6
done
goals
a
in 10 games.
brilliant job, man.
Fair play to him, man.
You know, and I just felt that in the grand scheme of that game, they deserved to win. They defended brilliantly, and then when they got their chances, they took them. And that's what Chelsea, they're not taking their chances. And I still look on it. I mean, I was at Stamford Bridge last week, and when I was walking into the stadium, there was this big Chelsea fan, and he goes, you like fucking talking about us, don't you? Keep talking about how we spent £1 billion. And I go, well, that's because you have spent £1 billion.
And they still have a lot.
I go, you spent £1 billion, and I can't see where that's gone. I don't.
They still have a lot of talent.
That is not a team. If someone spends £1 billion, right,
You'd
in
expect
one,
some,
remember, we're not talking over a period of years, you know. It literally over 2 seasons, a man spent £1 billion.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be scared of that team when I'm going to play them.
I think it's
There's
because
still a lot of
teams-
average players
I think
in
it's
that
because
team.
teams always go so attack heavy when they do invest, and the fact that you're looking at Chelsea's attack as like, you just want
But
basically
at the same time, like
even against us, they play very, very well in that game. Obviously, we came back right at the end, right? But I was saying this to Matisse last week. Well, you didn't create no loads of chances.
Yeah.
I said you got a penalty, right? And then the other one was Mudryk. He was trying to cross the ball, and the ball went in. You didn't create lots of chances in that. I think Cole Palmer had a shot that just went wide. Yeah. You didn't create loads of chances. So I'm still looking at them, and I'm saying they've still got a long way.
Yeah, Chelsea got a long way to
They
go.
got a long, and they really needed to win that game because they drew against us. They've lost that game to Brentford. Now they go, I think, with the way to Tottenham. They got to play Man City.
They still got
They
a
got
lot.
to play
Newcastle.
They got
I think.
tough
They got to play
fixtures coming up.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
They got to
tough
play
fixtures.
Brighton. They got a hard run coming up, man.
Which makes you think kind of where Poch could be kind of come at the end of that, because personally I don't think he should be in any trouble, but knowing how kind of the Chelsea
how football
fan
goes.
base and the board are, things get very.
Listen, if you
trigger
lose
happy
all
and
4
quick
of
over
those,
there.
you're in trouble.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
If you
You know what I mean?
Position on the table will reflect that.
Yeah,
If you lose all
listen,
4,
man,
they'll
this is
be
football,
100%.
man. And
You know
people
what I mean?
don't like to see their club down near the bottom. Listen, I think what the test is for Pochettino now is you need to go and win a couple of those big games coming up.
Yeah.
If he goes to Tottenham and wins,
Yeah, it'll be
with the
different.
rivalry that exists between
Hey
the two
yo,
teams,
But you know,
I need his head
That's-
off the canvas.
that's the sort of game that could then.
It gives him a lot more breathing
shout out
space. if
Nathan
you like,
Collins.
yeah. I was
Nathan
gonna
Collins.
say your boy put in a couple of
My
big
boy,
challenges, man.
Nathan Collins.
Played well, man. They
That's
played
my
well.
guy.
They played
Played
well.
really well.
Nathan Collins played well.
Pinnock.
was
Jamaica.
big in the game.
Shout out.
Jamaica.
Right,
Pinnock was good.
Yeah,
You know?
that's good.
Listen,
And
2-0.
as I said, remember they're missing Tony.
Yeah,
They're missing what's the left back?
Rico Lewis.
Rico Henry. Rico Henry, I think, is one of the best left backs in the league.
He's good. I like him.
They're missing him, right? That was a big performance by Brentford, man. They're a good side, man.
Listen, West London is red and white as it is now, man. Do you know what I mean? We move, though. We move. There was another game on Saturday. El Clásico happened. I don't know if you guys managed to catch that. I
Yeah.
know
Caught the
Arsenal
highlights.
Game, yeah, Arsenal
Yeah.
game was on at the same time, but we were watching it in studio.
Gotta get bit. I mean, that was gonna be my champ of the week anyway.
Bro,
But
I mean...
Jude Bellingham, mate.
What more can you say about this kid? And I feel like I've said, for me, in terms of like wonder kids, under 21s, he sits there with the Rooneys, with the Ronaldos,
Oof.
with the Michael Owens. In
You
my
reckon,
opinion,
yeah?
for what he's done, bro. 16 years old, you're leaving your hometown club to go Germany. You almost lead them to a title charge in a season where they don't actually deserve to win it. You won the German Cup the year before, so you're actually doing bits over there. But the way he's developing year on year, then you go to Madrid, the biggest club in the world.
Pressure.
When you could have easily gone home comfort, come to United, come to Chelsea. I'm going to challenge myself again to have that mentality and then take it on to a Dr. Water. First 10 games, 10 goals. And now in the biggest game
goals
in El
in
Clásico.
13 games.
13 goals in 13 games now, yeah. But it's just the way he's taken to it. For me, it's not even, I'm not looking at even what he's doing on the pitch. I'm just looking at his mentality. And I'm like, bro, this is
Even the other day for
freak
England,
nature.
he's the guy.
The thing
At
about
the
it,
World
me
Cup, even the way he played,
some
like
moments,
he looked, like the guy. Every stage you put him on,
It's
he
like-
takes to it like a duck to water.
Yeah.
And and I remember on that game on Saturday, we were watching it. Both teams just kind of looking a little iffy in the first half. Barca got 1-0 up, got Raul there. He's like, oh, don't worry, we have Jude Bellingham. We have Jude Bellingham. He gonna tenner. I said, say no more. First one comes. And I think the thing I don't like about sometimes people are trying to discredit him. They're trying to say, oh, he's just a tapping merchant. Oh, he's just scoring goals. And I'm like, are you not seeing the run he made for that goal?
Yeah.
When Carvajal gets the ball out wide, most centre mids are still sitting on the edge of the box. He makes a dart straight to the penalty box. Still gets the flick on. That's where, sensing in the box, where you're saying with Son, sniffing out that bit of danger. He's now improved his game where last year you weren't looking at Jude Bellingham for goals. The year before you weren't talking about goals. But now he's improving his game to that aspect where
he's playing in a different role. He's playing in the number 10. At the end of the day, you want your 10s to be putting down numbers. The people are basically trying to say that, in his performance and always great and he scores goals or whatever, but you can't take away what he's doing at the moment. Like going to Real Madrid, this is the most glamorous club in the world. People can talk about size, whatever, but the most glamorous club, most successful club in history. To go into there, and perform this way is beyond anyone's imagination. People thought that, maybe the La Liga's a technical league, so maybe it's going to be a bit hard for him. But he showed with that athleticism that he's got as well. He'll push you away. He's gonna bulldoze through you. So he's just, what he's doing, it is special. Like we talk about, remember when Cesc Fabregas broke through, and it's a young centre mid who's doing mad things. You talking about Rooney and all these guys, but they're attackers. They're strikers. They're wingers. But when you look at young centre mids who are actually accomplishing things and doing things at such a young age, I only think of Fabregas. I think of Pedri for season before. I think of those type of guys, but there's not many for the centre midfield position that just go in and do that. So what Bellingham's doing, bro, it's
ridiculous.
13 Ronaldo had 13 goals in 13 games, 2 assists. I think Bellingham's got 1 more assist. He's on prime CR7 pace now. And he's not going to be that. Let's not be grounded. But 13 goals so far. He should be aiming for 30 goals this season. 30. He might get 30.
I'm sorry.
At the age of 20, right? 20. There's a lot of, at 20, right?
But there's a lot of 20-year-olds watching this right now.
Listen, you'll have a kid of 18, 19. Like you said, he left from the country, went to Germany, did what the amazing things he was doing over there. You'll have a kid, 18, 19. You say, you're off to uni. Say you live in London, in Manchester, and they're scared. Oh my God, man, boy, I've never left to Manchester. But this kid's gone to Real Madrid.
Taking the number 5 shirt.
Age of 20. Yeah. And it's right now their best player, right? Amongst all the superstar players of Modric, all these top players, Vinicius Junior, all that. He's already become the main guy. It's not just that game. It's been other games, Champions League games. He scores the winner.
Man of the match.
Right, big games. The team's down. It's almost like you're seeing him. Give me the ball, man. Yo, a 20-year-old. The other day I saw him do that for England in the Italy game.
He's got that leadership.
Yo.
He's got that leadership about him.
Give me it, man. Give me.
The grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck. That's what it is.
That's the definition.
That is the definition of Saturday. What we saw there.
He is
second
already
goal, when he picks the ball up. He doesn't even look up.
At
He
the
just
age of
says,
20, yeah.
I'm hitting Gerrard mode. I know Gerard's designer.
He's
That's Gerard mode right there.
I think Bellingham's already a world-class player now. You know what I mean? He's world-class. And as I said, you know what I mean, there's been player after player after player over the years that have been top players and have gone to Madrid and wilted.
Yeah.
Hazard.
Yeah.
I know he had injury issues, but he wilted. There's been top players that the pressure of Madrid, where all they deal with is wins. They don't deal with, we're Madrid fans, don't deal with draws. They don't think, they've won everything so many times. All they deal with is win. Going away to Barcelona, which for anybody else is so difficult. For them, they demand victory. And he just embraced it all.
The reality is, like,
I think at the moment, he's just an absolutely incredible player.
he's built different. That's just what it is. He is
Bro,
built different. There's
I'm looking-
something different about that guy, man.
Listen,
Honestly,
I don't know about
there's
you
something
guys,
different
yeah?
about him.
I'm not about you guys. I'm looking at this England team now with him in it. Declan Rice,
Exactly
Kane,
where I was gonna go next,
Harry
actually.
Kane, right?
They should be winning it.
Favourites?
Yeah, we're supposed to win.
Favourites?
Listen, I in the Euros, the only team this team should fear is France, because obviously France have got Mbappe.
Vengeance for the last World Cup, though.
Right? Yeah, but right now, I said this like a couple of months ago, and I was getting cussed off by people, right?
Yeah.
This is amongst my little group, right? And I said, we're miles better than Brazil. If you look at player for player. And they're like, no, man. I said, no, I saw Brazil in the World Cup. And obviously they've got good players, but I think England's team, they've got a better striker than...
You know, England, though, will play Brazil and go and lose.
That's
the problem.
That's the problem. The manager now...
but the manager now... This. We never
But the manager
it.
now has to now start... You know what I mean? He's got to be accountable now,
Yeah.
because now we have got the players.
Yeah.
In years gone by, we haven't got the players to beat Brazil.
Might be a left
Now
foot
we've
missing.
got the players to beat Brazil. We've got
England-
Saka. We've got Bellingham. We've got Foden.
Kane.
Grealish. Kane.
Stones.
Stones. Bellingham.
Walker.
Declan Rice. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Walker.
Bro, the list is endless.
Walker.
England's
Right.
got a fantastic. He's got a fantastic team, and there's so many other players as well under that pool.
Reece James.
Yeah, there's
Come
a lot
on,
of
man.
players. There's a lot of
Madison.
players. England-
Madison,
Hey.
Madison can't even get in the team right now. No,
Rashford.
Whoa. Don't joke with that one.
He's
Don't joke
starting.
with
He's
that
gonna
one.
start.
Don't joke with that one.
no, but you know what, right? Even all of these players, even you're talking about players in Madison,
Sure.
and they can't even get in the side right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the thing is, England have got a really good
Come
team. And
on,
one
there's
thing
no
that-
excuses
One
no
thing
more,
that
man.
I'm loving
I
about
fully
England
agree.
as
Fully
well.
agree.
One thing that I love right now, not even England as a national team, but I love that Bellingham's abroad. I love that Kane is abroad, and that's something that the past generations didn't really have too much. Beckham went abroad, McManaman went abroad, Michael Owen went and came back straight away, but. It's good to go out there. You can international football is so different from the Premier League. I keep saying this.
Yeah.
The Premier League is probably the league that's furthest away from how international football is played. And that's why when I see us all Premier League squad, you can't adapt to that slower tempo, that patience. We're never like that, England. And I think now when you have like Kane, he's in another league. I know the Bundesliga is still quite transitional and stuff, but it's nice for these guys to experience something different. That's two of England's main players now. And I just think Real Madrid instills something different in your mentality. That could be the difference for getting over the line in certain games. And Kane going around now, listen, Kane would know what all the talk was about. Oh, he's a little fodder out there at Spurs. Blah, blah. Now the world is standing up and looking at Kane like, this is a legendary striker here. Now people are seeing him do it at Bayern Munich, and just something different about wearing that badge, it
respect him like
magnifies.
a big dog.
Now you're looking at Harry Kane.
I mean, like you said, two of England's main players have gone abroad and they're killing it.
Yeah.
And we've
So
seen
there should be
Sancho
no
even go.
excuse.
We've seen Sancho go and do it. More English players should go abroad and test different waters, and that's why it's a shame when, in a way, I think he gets a little bit overhyped in Tomori, but it's good that he's abroad. You know what I mean? But Gareth Southgate needs to be looking, he should be talking. He should be talking to some of these guys as well. Some of these guys that are sitting on the bench at their nation and they're quite in their clubs and they're quite talented. Go abroad.
Calvin Phillips.
Go abroad. Go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go abroad. Go in. But he's probably gonna do what? Probably find a little Brentford move or Palace. Come on, man. Go abroad.
The allure
Go
of the Premier
Napoli,
League
bruh.
will always keep them there. But
Kill it.
I fully agree. I've always thought, I don't know why English players don't go and test themselves a little bit more, but I've always thought
More of them are going
you should,
abroad now.
yeah.
More of them are going abroad.
But listen, we're almost at the end of the show. Before we wrap up, we always do champs and.
Do you know?
duds
Are you
of
familiar
the
with
week.
champs and duds of the week?
So
I never make it to the end of the show. Because
You would choose that because I'm cussing Arsenal.
normally cuss off Arsenal so much, right? That's I'm a luck after.
Well, listen, you got every week you nominate one person for your champ of the week. So if you're in the comment section as well, let us know who your champs and duds of the week are. Let us know your thoughts. Make sure you're smashing
I
the
do
likes.
know.
Yeah, champs and duds of the week. If you've got a champ, let me know. I think you was gonna say Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, mine was going to be Jude Bellingham. I don't need to go into that again.
Yeah.
So I'll let you go.
Mine was, I think, the return of Rodrigo Bentancur, man. After 8 months out, I'm really happy to see him, my favourite midfielder.
We don't care.
in my club. I know you lot don't
I'm
care.
here to tell you right now.
Shut up. Yeah. Rodrigo
We don't care.
Bentancur. I appreciate you, brother.
Whatever.
Welcome
What
back.
about you?
I appreciate that.
Eddie.
Yeah,
Eddie.
Harry Kane got your
Hat-trick.
hat trick too.
Hat-trick hero.
That was
know
a
what I
good
mean?
champ, to be fair.
And a great hat-trick as well. Like great quality goals in them.
Yeah.
Got to be Eddie for me.
Dud, I think I...
I got my dad.
Go on, you want to give your dud
I
first?
got my dad.
Dud, or you can only give it to one. Or
I got
duds.
my
Nah, you
dad.
give multiple.
In
You
fact,
give multiple if you want.
I need that.
You need a mask.
This could reflect two people, you know. This is two of my dads.
Tyson!
Give me that. This man right here. No, this could be Ten Hag. It could be Tyson Fury. It's Tyson Fury. Tyson, he has single-handedly put heavyweight boxing in a dark place. Francis Ngannou dropped him. Francis Ngannou potentially should have won. The world is saying...
No, he won. He won it.
There we go. The world
won it.
is saying that Francis was robbed. A UFC fighter,
he
a guy
was.
that has...
He was.
He just...
Disgrace.
This is his first ever fight. I actually think, bro, listen, this is a dark day for boxing, bro, because everyone laughs at crossovers. Everyone laughs at influencers, blah, blah, blah. The heavyweight boxer in the world, of the heavyweight champ, the people that say, put him in the legendary conversations, one of the greatest of all time, lost to a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
Lost to a UFC fighter.
Hey.
Imagine if the titles were on the line. It would have been a lot different.
Listen.
Obviously, Fury would have won on points, but everybody knew once it got to decision.
Yeah.
Everybody knew they was going to give it to a boxer because it's a disgrace.
But
Of course,
they were
impossible.
going to always give it to Fury.
Yeah, of course.
Right, because the Usyk fight.
Yeah.
Right? Usyk's ringside. That's the
to.
next
There's
big
no-
fight in
have
Saudi
to.
Arabia. Right, so if Ngannou wins that fight, that's all off.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that's why it's corrupt really.
Yeah, it's
because
corrupt.
everybody who watched that fight knows that Ngannou won. Right, even if you're a Fury fan, right, he won the fight. He dropped him. He was bossing him throughout the thing. So yeah, it was a dark day for boxing.
Listen, it don't even fit. It's your big head, man. Take that off, man. It's gonna be stuck on his head now.
I'm a fighting man. I'll fight anyone
Do you know
in the
who's
car.
worse? Yeah. Do you know who's worse than Tyson Fury? His dad.
His dad.
Coming up.
Fury.
Coming up. Did you see him all dressed half naked for the weigh-ins? I'm like,
know,
big
but
man, why are you stripped down?
But his dad does make me laugh.
Nah,
man.
he
His
kills
dad's
me,
good
man.
value, man.
He kills
His dad's
My
good value.
dad this week, I'm gonna give to Neil Morpay. Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
What did he
I'm
do?
sorry. I
When
have
he's
to
through a
think-
goal.
Bro,
I didn't see
you
that, know.
are over 30 games without a goal. You are through on goal to a wide open goal. You have 4 or 5 opportunities to hit the shot.
Oh, and he passes to
He doesn't even pass.
Wait,
He didn't pass
Sanchez
it.
tackles him and through it, so you don't even get the assist. No, man, get out of here. What are you here for? Bro is here just to do touchline shenanigans with Cole Palmer. Allow it, man, bro. This guy, you are a certified done.
I think Dud as well. I gotta give it to the Leon fans, man. Come on, man. They put their manager in hospital.
Oh,
bro.
I
France,
literally
you ever
just-
seen that. The Leon fans stoned the team bus.
Yeah.
Their manager's done at it. Fabio Grosso. That's too far, man.
Some of them fans
Way
in
too
France
far.
are crazy.
Way
They're too
too
far.
far.
They're
You
too
see the
far.
Marseille fans before that, they're
all
crazy.
for voicing
Yeah.
your opinion and
that's
showing your
ridiculous.
displeasure or whatever, but when you start taking it to,
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna throw shit at people. Yeah, man,
that's
you've taken
mad.
it too
That's
And
far.
your
I'm
old
sorry.
goalkeeper as well. I don't know if you guys caught the Liverpool game. I know people are gonna say, "Oh, why aren't you talking about Liverpool?" But
Hey,
the Liverpool
Soboslai
game, right?
Masterclass.
Turner Turner. Did you guys see for the goal?
I'm at
Did you
Turner.
guys see Salah's last goal? You ever seen it?
Yeah.
When
I
you
need to see
see
the
it,
highlights.
bro, one ball over, he's all telling the guy, like, I got this.
Yeah.
Then they just leave the ball, bro.
Matt-
And Salah
Matt-
just
Matt
throws a goal
Turner.
and just taps it in.
That's why we had to. That's why we had to get in Raya. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen.
My dud, because you ain't mentioned United yet, man.
Look at that, bro. I said this, look. Pick
No, you
if
said that was
It's
Fury.
whoever you want. It's whoever you want. It could be Ten Hag. It could be Fury. You know what I'm saying?
I've got to give it to Ten Hag, man, because
Yeah.
as I said, I'm still trying to work out what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And that today, especially substitute, when he took off Amrabat, I was like, yeah.
That's back-to-back games. I think he took him off half-time as well, isn't it?
think so.
Yeah, what you bring the buy the man for? Now you got no steal in midfield. You ain't got Casemiro's not even in the squad, and now you're taking Amrabat off. Who's going to play that role?
Yeah.
You might need to bring back Fred, bro.
Oh,
Hey, don't joke with that one.
Here we go. This fan base hated when we used to say bring back Aubameyang. Remember? When they weren't scoring, they hated it. Now they're saying bring back Fred.
Well, listen, people, listen. Make sure you're getting involved as well. Let us know your champs and duds of the week as well in the comments section. Let us know all your thoughts throughout the games and what we've said as well. Smash the like videos if you've joined us as well. Appreciate, obviously, you joining us. We couldn't go live this week, but those of you that have joined the video, we appreciate it regardless. We will be back next week, I believe. We could be on a Saturday, won't we, after the Arsenal Newcastle game.
yes.
So make sure you're checking out for that, and then we'll be there for the
hunting.
Chelsea.
You're
The
hunting
Chelsea.
and defeating it. I see how you men operate, you know. I see how you
listen,
men operate.
FCM,
you see this guy?
Football.
This guy, you
culture,
instigate that.
movement. Robbie, we thank you for being here, man. Appreciate you definitely
Pleasure,
joining
man.
us, man.
Pleasure, thank you.
And people, make sure you're checking out all the socials and everything.
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sure you're subscribed to the channel, and we will be back next week. Till then, take care.
Football, culture, movement.